My name is Matt, and this right here is my van, a 2021 Ford Transit. It's also my home. I live in this thing. Let me give you a tour. You may notice I really like the color red. Not just red, but the red-black color scheme. When I bought a Bear cargo van in 2021, my idea was always not only to convert it into a house, but to let my creative side come out, make it a space that is all mine. I think half the fun of a van conversion is letting your artistic side show. Be bold, show your personality. My personality is a lot of red and black. If you want a Taylor Swift themed van, do it. If your personality's all gray and unpainted wood, that's fine, do that too, be yourself. Another thing I wanted with my van is a layout unlike anything I see online. The so-called airplane layout, where there's a trench in the middle and the back is just a bed going this way. I didn't want that. I wanted what I feel like is a living room inside my van. I think I achieved that with what I have here. There's enough space for me to kind of diddle around, work in my kitchen area, and sometimes just like sit on the floor and curl up in a fetal position and cry about life. You know, I do that a lot too. I also have my bed going lengthwise. I just always did that. When I first got this van, I just threw a mattress down on the ground, and I originally had it in that orientation. I just grew accustomed to it. I cook a lot in my kitchen, so I need the running water. I also need a fan. I have an overhead fan right there. Here I have an air conditioner, and I also have a skylight back here, which I love. I sleep on the street a lot. I live in my van. Sometimes I'm on a residential street in Boston or some other city when I'm traveling. So I like my windows to be on the ceiling, letting light in from the street lights or the moon, wildfires outside, a building on fire, anything to bring illumination so people can't see in through the window. I also have a full shower and bathroom in my van. It works right down here. Yeah, see like that? Try not to get myself wet while I'm filming. I always wanted a bathroom in my van. I have no regrets about it. My theory about having a shower in your van is when you're not using it to shower, it's just basically a big empty space. You can transport stuff in it. I think it's the best use of space. And as you can probably see, I also use my shower to hold a lot of stuff, gear, my kayak oars, winter shovel, this, I don't know, I'm trying to do this in the reverse mirror, bathroom stuff. But the real heart of this van, I think, is my workstation. I have to work on my laptop a lot. It's right here. This is where I do most of my work on my laptop. I just pull out this drawer, sit it right here. I have all my controls, my light switches, my inverter, my everything I could possibly need. Thermostat, AC, all the controls are on this panel right here. Everything in one place. This also comes off. I can use it as like a portable, workstation. And in here, I store all my electronic stuff. A very efficient use of space, I think. And it's great to just lay back and relax like this, kick up my feet. I also installed a digital clock in here because the only other way I have to tell time is on my phone. I do a lot of video editing. My phone is like preoccupied showing movies or stuff. So I'm glad I installed that. It also lights up the space in here at night. Speaking of lighting the space up at night, I'll show you the light system I have rigged up. I built all of this myself, and I used just an automotive switch box for all my lights here. This is just an overhead light for the kitchen countertop area. This is kind of a hallway light that goes across here. This is fairy lights for this thing right here. And last but not least, everyone's favorite, my disco ball light, which is currently the only light I have to light up my shower. I use these USB lights because they draw almost no power. And if I want super bright lights, the AC that I got right here has extremely bright LED lights. I turn them on once in a while. Mostly I like the dim lights. I also have hydronic heat, which is superheated glycol that runs through tubes in the floor and in the wall right here, so it gets all nice and warm in the winter. That stuff is a lifesaver. Took forever to install, but oh my god, that stuff is great. I have my battery monitor here. I did hook up 2 switches, one for my pump and one for my fridge, because they just are always on otherwise. I didn't like something being always on. All my remotes, everything comes with a remote nowadays. I don't know why. I keep it all here. And last but not least, I have a screen right here for some external cameras. I can lay back and see what's going on outside when I'm stealthing all up. Like I said, I sleep on the street a lot. I like to black out all the windows so no light comes out of here. I just use this, which is 1/4-inch green guard. I covered it in Gorilla Tape, and I just black out the windows like that. You may notice I use Gorilla Tape or duct tape, you know, whatever, electrical tape, that shiny glossy polyvinyl tape, as most of my wall finish in here. A few spaces I have installed felt, which has a nice texture to it. But I like the duct tape wallpaper. That came about because when I was installing my insulation in here, which was some Thinsulate, and then I put some 1/4-inch green guard over that, I just used the duct tape to tape the green guard to the wall, and then I realized, why attach big heavy wall panels on top of this? I could just use this as a finish. I'm happy with how it turned out, and it weighs next to nothing. The insulation in here is really great. I love turning on my Christmas lights. I just have them on all year round. But back here is the foot of my bed where I store all my fancy clothes, pressed clothes, t-shirts, ties, all that stuff. This is kind of like if I have an interview or some important work function. And I normally sleep with my head down there just because I like to have everything within reach. But sometimes I come down here and I can just watch the stars at night through my skylight. I can't stress enough the importance of good light in your van. You don't want something just like all bright and overhead that just kills your eyes, but you don't want it to be too dark. I went without a skylight for the first 3 years in here, and it's the last thing I installed. Oh my God, it has opened up the space in here. Best thing I ever did. Aside from the solar panels, I do have a DC to DC charger on a 3-way switch here. That lets me charge the house battery from the alternator. It also lets me jumpstart the car using power from the house battery. I can go either way. I also installed a battery monitor on the car's battery right there, and I put a little schematic down here of what I attached to the customer connection points. Above the driver's seat, I ripped out the factory shelf that came in here and installed my own shelving to hold all my hoodies and winter gear. And the last thing I'll show is my control tower of most of my shelving. Right here is where I keep all my kill switches for all my wires, which I did myself. Yeah, it's kind of a mess in there. A future project, I will fix all of that stuff up, clean it up a bit. But I use this quick shelf netting stuff from Amazon. This was my favorite stuff to use as a storage thing, you know, in the van. If I could do it again, I would use this for everything. No drawers, no nothing. Up here, I have a little slot based with Velcro for like fire extinguisher stuff. Here is all my hiking gear. I used a heavy 90-pound magnet for that. This is my auxiliary power station. It's got my battery bank here, another battery bank I can actually jump my car battery with, a high boost for the antenna for the cell phone booster, and then down here, another battery bank, luggage in case I had to go somewhere, and tons of duct tape and zip ties. I should probably be a spokesperson for duct tape and zip ties. I've gotten into those things so much since I moved into a van. As for storage, right here is my main utility drawer for like big stuff, you know, pots and pans. Down here is my fridge. Let's see if I can pull it out while talking. Yeah, I just have like a 55-liter fridge right here. Opens up. Not gonna pull out all the way for the interest of time. Right down here is underneath the sink. I just keep typical underneath the sink stuff. And over here, just drawers of like highly organized stuff. Yeah. And right here, oh, this is a good one. This is my trash bin, so I can easily drop stuff in the trash. The last thing I'll show you is I have a hot water tank right here so I can take hot showers in the van. Anything that gets wet, I wanted it to drain onto the step and out of the van. I use this extruded 80/20 aluminum for all of the framework in here. And I love working with that stuff. I could build a skyscraper with that. I don't have the credentials, but that stuff is so much fun to work with. And yes, as you can see, I just love the red and black color scheme. I find it a very soothing color. I have my water tank, which is a 30-gallon wheel well water tank back here, nice and protected behind these doors. This is my shower, as you can see, and I can take that faucet and put it here, take an outdoor shower if I want to. This is my pull-out chest for like big, tools and stuff like that. I have a little chute down here at the end of my bed for dropping dirty laundry in. It drops into a hamper, which I keep right down here. It's important to keep dirty laundry outside of your main living space, especially if it's all wet. This has worked out really well for me. When I want to do my laundry, I just pull this out, take my hamper out, and bada bing, bada boom. What I have outside of the van is equally as important. I have an aluminum bull bar with a winch in the front. I haven't used the winch yet for real, but I could have used it in an emergency I was in last winter. That's why I got it. I got some big heavy-duty Falcon tires for going off-road, going in the mud. They have the side tread. I love those things. And I have the spare tire and ladder combo right here, also by Illuminous. What's on the top is what I'm proud of most. I'll take you upstairs. So this is my cell phone booster antenna. This is just like a big storage chest that I use for keeping like my traction boards, big tools and stuff that I just want to get outside of my main living space. I have the Stealth Roof Rack by Orion with these awesome roof deck panels, all aluminum, and this is my skylight, which I just installed. I love it. I have 400 watts of solar wired in series right here, and they top off like everything. After I've installed the solar panels, I never have to use my DC to DC charger anymore. They're just great. This is my air conditioner by a company called OutEquip Pro, and this is just a little fan I got off Amazon. I had the Max Air, but it was just too long to fit in this space right here, so I got this. It's only 14 inches wide. Last but not least, this right here is my Nightlight light bar. The Ford Transit factory lights are so inadequate, especially when you're driving down the road and there's branches overhanging the road and critters scampering across the road. Anyway, I got this light bar. It is the best thing ever. It's like as bright as the sun, but I find the amber light very easy on the eyes. I also have some amber and white LED lights down in the bumper. And I have little lights on the side here so I can shoot light off to the side, like when I'm camping or something like that. My reason for moving into a van, like probably 99% of other van dwellers, was purely financial. In 2020, when the pandemic hit, I was paying ridiculous Boston rents, like $2 or $3 grand a month, just to work on my laptop in my apartment all day long. That went on for like a year and a half. I realized I could be doing my work anywhere. Why pay these rents? So I bought a blank cargo van, spent over a year building out everything you see in here. It takes a long time to build a van. Built it out in my father's driveway, and then after he passed in late 2022, September 20th, 2022, that's when I took off and officially lived full-time in this thing. I've only slept in a house once or twice since then, honestly. And I love everything about van life. The freedom, the comfort, the security. Let me tell you, I've rented my entire life, and landlords can just show up and come into your apartment at any time, snoop around, whatever it is they do. They can't do that here. This is all my space. I own this. Also, I'm saving more money now than I ever have in my entire life. This has been a huge financial boon. I would say my monthly expenses are about a quarter of what they were when I was living in an apartment. I have no regrets about this. Last but not least, though, my favorite thing about living in the van is I feel more secure in here than I have anywhere else in my life. Any house or apartment I've lived in, this is the first thing that truly feels like home to me. Like, I get sad when I'm away from this thing. When the van gets like a breakdown or something, I get scared. This is my cocoon. I think that's a theme you'll find with a lot of people who live in their van. They would rather be there than anywhere else. That's how it's been with me. Anyway, that's my story. This is my van. I'm not colorblind. I just really love the color red and black. Thanks for taking this tour. If you're thinking about van life, do it. Go for it. You can save a ton of money and you can build out a space all in your own style. I say go for it. I did it. I have no regrets. Going on year 4. Thanks for watching. Peace out.